Hello YouTube, welcome to the garage. Not only do we fix cars around here, we fix pretty much everything else that breaks around here. So today the project is the fan blade on the heat pump broke, okay? And this has happened before. About 4 or 5 years ago I had to replace this fan because it broke. And I noticed that this fan failed in the same way the previous fan failed. But fortunately, I caught this before the whole blade came off and destroyed the condenser, and had to have that replaced. It, costing several $100s at least. Okay, the new fan was $175, so that was enough. But since this is seems to be a recurring problem, I wanted to know why and see if there's anything that I could do to fix it so it wouldn't happen again. And I got to looking really close here, and hopefully I can get you where you can see it. I'm looking in the camera and trying to see if I can get to where you can see it. Okay, where that rivet is where it actually failed. It started to fail right, it cracked right at that rivet and then worked its way out. And that's the way the other one failed, okay? And so I got to thinking, all right, why would that do that? So how does this thing work? The way I have this sitting here is the way it is in the heat pump. In the motor, the shaft of the motor goes in here, and then the grate on top of the heat pump is where it's suspended from. Okay, so this is the position that fan sits in, and it rotates, as you're looking at it, clockwise. All right, so air is scooped underneath here and then goes off the trailing end of the fan. All right, so you got to look at everything as a lever or a lever, however you want to put it. Leverage is what I'm talking about. Okay, all right, although you've got a broader surface area here catching more air, this part here is not very long. Okay, and then although this part here is narrower, it's longer. So even though less air is being pushed by this, it's got probably at least twice as much leverage. So what's happening is, I'm sure this is vibrating and stuff like that. It's not smooth, so it'll be vibrating. And over the course of years, what'll happen is right at that stress point, right at the edge, that's actually pretty sharp. If you look at just the very edge of that rivet, that's I would say that is a real sharp edge, and that's where it's taking all of the force of this leverage from here to here, all of that leverage. Okay, and over time that gets stressed and it starts to crack, and then it just keeps walking until if you don't stop it, it'll break all the way off. I know because I've had it happen. Okay, so I'm thinking, what can I do to fix that? Now, had they designed this thing differently, where the fan blade was mounted to this side, you would have all of this surface area here and here for that fan to push against. Instead of, I have this upside down, so the air is pushing on it this way. Okay, if this fan blade was on top of this, it would be pushing against this here. It would be pushing here on all the surface area, as opposed to just that real sharp area on the other side of the rivet that's holding all that. But be that as it may, this is the way it's designed. So I was trying to think, what can I do to maybe alleviate that problem? So I didn't want to take this off and mount it to the other side, which maybe the way it's shaped, that would have been hard to do. Okay, so what could I do? So I thought, well, if I drilled this out and put a large washer underneath this, and just bolted it on, that would be all the surface area along here as opposed to that one sharp point, and that would probably take care of that. So that is what I did. And the old one, you can see where, well, the new one, the replacement, you can see where I drilled out the rivets. And you just have to do these three, the ones on this, where this tail is. And that's exactly what I did. I drilled it out. That's a 5/16 bolt, and this is a fender washer. Okay, so instead of all the pressure being on the point where that rivet was, this whole surface area here is supporting the leverage from this tail here. Okay, so hopefully that will keep this from breaking again. Like I said, that's a $175 part. Thank God it didn't take out the several $100 condenser while it was at it. But I just don't want this to happen again. I mean, $175 is $175. I can spend it on car stuff or whatever. But that was my fix, and I used a not just a nylock nut. I used one of those metal crimp nuts, and that's a stainless steel bolt. I didn't want that to back off there, so the nylock nuts, they hold, but these crimp nuts, sometimes they call them cinch nuts, whatever. That's metal to metal, and that's really bound in the threads there. So I just put the, drilled the 5/16 hole, 5/16 bolt, and a fender washer on all three of these, and I think that's a fix. So, if you guys have any better ideas, if you've had this happen to you and you have any other better fixes, please, by all means, mention in the comments. I'm just, no expert on this. I just was trying to figure out how to overcome a problem, and this was my solution. Any questions, comments? Please put them in the comment section, and deal, like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. A little bonus footage. There it is installed. I think it looks pretty tidy. So let me go turn it on and see if it actually works. Nice and quiet. Time will tell if it's going to work. Let me know in the comments if you think it's going to work.